What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I am MJ, aka MJ of all trades. Today I want to talk to you guys about grief, dealing with grief, and how I'm coping with the loss of my father. Some of you may be aware, some of you may not be aware that are new to me. I feel like talking about this is going to help someone else when they lose a loved one or lose a parent, because when I lost my father, this is exactly what I did. I came to YouTube and I Googled all kinds of things, how to deal with the grief, and I came to YouTube and typed in how can somebody needs to help me, because this is something I can't understand. So like I said, my dad passed away November of 2020, at the end of November, 3 days after Thanksgiving. He passed away from cancer. It wasn't COVID. Sorry if I'm going to mumble and a lot in this video. I don't have no tissue by me either, but I'm going to try not to cry in this video. I probably will. It's a very touchy subject for me, so bear with me. Yeah. So my father passed away not even 2 years ago yet. So it's still very fresh for me. My father was someone that I grew up with. This is not an estranged father that I didn't know. This is a father that I grew up with in the house every day, that raised me. It's the reason why I know who God is, the reason why I've been to church, why I'm spiritual, the reason why I prayed, the reason, a part of, my mom is also there, but he definitely, I had an active father in my life. This wasn't someone I didn't know. So this is a very big loss for me. Like I said, he died from cancer. It wasn't COVID, but it was during the pandemic, during COVID. And I had just lost two aunts right before him. Two of my mom's sisters had just passed away right before my dad, that I loved and was close to. One of them was my godmother. And my dad is a minister. My dad was a minister. You guys probably can't see that picture up here, but this is a picture of him teaching in his element when he was ministering. And because he was a minister, the aunt that died right before him, he did her eulogy. So it's crazy to me to be sitting in my aunt's funeral, then another aunt, and then his in November. So we found out, me and my family, in 2016, I believe it was May 2016, that he had prostate cancer. We found out that he had prostate cancer in May, and when I tell you guys the devastation that came from that phone call, we thought he was going in for like something minor. I think he had some kind of pain or something, but he had went into the hospital. I was still in LA. All my family was here in St. Louis, so I'm in LA, and I'm just like, okay, Daddy's in pain. He's in the hospital, but he's going to be okay. Because Daddy just was never the type to get sick. He didn't get sick. He prayed all the time. He was a minister. He believed in healing. He laid hands on the sick. He prayed for the sick. He was just such a believer. He had so much faith. I don't know anybody really that had more faith than my father. So it still is bothers me a lot that he's not here, and I still really don't understand why he passed away, even though we know everyone's gonna die. Okay, but once you lose someone that you feel is just so powerful, such a good person, and here we are in this world with these other humans that are mean, that are still walking this earth, Lord forgive me, but like, why take my father? That's how I felt, and that's sort of how I still feel. Like I said, I found out in 2016 from a phone call from my sister, but we didn't tell. I don't think we really told anybody, because my father just was that type of person, didn't want to tell people, which I do not agree with. Just heads up to people when you get sick. especially if you're a Christian, tell somebody so they can pray for you. Why do y'all keep that to yourselves? I just don't understand that. So I didn't keep it to myself. Did I make it public? No, not until later. But I did text personally every prayer warrior that I knew, everybody that I knew that loved me or cared about me or that was a praying person. I definitely text all of them and told them what was going on when I found out. My sister called me. I'll never forget that phone call. I was coming out of the bathroom, and my sister is 2 years older than me. I'm the youngest of 4 girls, by the way. So it's 4 of us, and I'm the 4th. I got a call from her, and when I heard her cry, I was confused when I was hearing her cry, because she don't cry like that in front of people, really. And I was trying to make out what she was saying. And when I heard her cry and how concerned she was, and when she said it's cancer, I was just so confused immediately, because I was like, cancer, and I'm just, that cry I heard from her was like a cry. I'm trying not to cry right now, talking about it, was a cry that I will never, I will never forget that cry. And I will never forget how I felt in that moment. I will never forget how that immediately changed me. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I had to grab tissue. I knew I was going to cry during this video because my dad meant so much to me, but I do want to, I think it's therapeutic to talk about. I do think I'll help somebody else. So it immediately changed me when I got that call. My whole year was changed. That was in May. I remember I had just started a job in August of that year, and my family, including my dad, everybody was down in Mississippi at this family reunion. First family reunion we ever had, and I wasn't able to make the family reunion. So that was kind of hard. I had a feeling in my heart that that may be the last one. That I just missed it. That he was gonna go to. I had a little inkling inside, and I had just started at a shoes company, and it's interesting, the grief, because it's almost like I prayed and believed that he was going to be healed, but it's almost like I grieved a little before it happened. Like, even when I found out, so from 2016 to 2022 was just a lot for me. Because we just dealt back and forth with, is he going to make it? Is he going to be okay? Taking him to the doctor. What did the doctor say? Him, on the meds, and, trying to, 1 minute he's, taking cancer pills, and it looks like it disappeared. He even talked about it in one of his teachings I will never forget. And I thought it was going to be a testimony, and so did he. And I thought it would be a testimony that, of him being healed. But God still decided to take him. I still struggle with understanding why my dad was 68 when he died. I just think that was so young. I always thought that my father was going to be like a good 95, 100 when he passed. I just never thought of him dying, especially not now. It just wasn't something that resonated with me. I just couldn't see that happening. But like I said, he was definitely a prayer warrior. That's another thing. So the faith that he had, I was like, oh, God got this. God's going to take care of it. Everything's going to be fine. So the year 2016, the year we found out, was hard for me. Besides the year he died, and 2016 was one of the worst years of my life. And I think my finding out my father had cancer had a lot to do with it. I just remember that year just going so rough for me. I was always even when I was at work, I was sad driving to work. Every time I would get a text or call while I was at work from a family member, I immediately panicked, because they knew I was at work, from 8 to 5 or 8 to 5:30 or whatever, 9, whatever hours I was there. So when they would call me at work or even get a text, I can't tell y'all the amount of heartbeat I would get, just wondering what was going on at home. So that was 2016, and up until 2020, did I say 2016, 2022? I don't know. But 2016 to 2020 was really, really... So he survived, and dealt with the cancer for 4.5 years. He fought, and, which he fought a good fight. Whatever that means. What does that mean, y'all? I don't know. When people say it, what is a good fight? Because that fight wouldn't... Yeah, but, he eventually died November of 2020. I think it was November 28th or 29th. And he died. We all were in the room with him. So if any of you are familiar with how the pandemic was working, nobody could go to the hospital. It could only be one visit at a time. And I was in LA up until the night before Thanksgiving. I knew my dad was in the hospital. My sister had taken him to the hospital October 31st. He never came out. And I was doing everything in my power. I had just started relaunching my online store again. I was taking product pics, all that stuff. That night before Thanksgiving, I got a message from my sisters just saying it's not good. It's just not looking good. And then one of my friends, family friend that we went to church with, texted me. She was like, do you know what's going on with your father? And I was like, I'm aware of what's going on. She's like, you might want to get home. And I knew what was going on. I just was trying to avoid. I was just like, no, he's going to survive. He's going to survive. So night before Thanksgiving, I was supposed to spend Thanksgiving with my best friend. I FaceTimed my sisters and I was like, I have to get home. I know I do. And my sister's like, do you need anything? We could fly you here. You need us to help you out. We got it. So I ended up booking a flight that night. By that morning, I was on a plane. Called my best friend that night. I was like, I need you to take me to the airport. I can't spend Thanksgiving with y'all. She was like, I got you. So I was here Thanksgiving. When I got off the plane, one of my sisters picked me up. She was like, so mommy's not spending Thanksgiving with him today. You are. And I was immediately taken back because I don't think I was ready for that. Because I saw his condition via FaceTime. And my dad was intubated for a long time. So I wasn't able to speak to him or say bye or anything. They immediately had to put him under because of his condition. And it happened so fast. So when I got there, I was just like, okay. So I went in, I saw him. My sister was like, let me know if you can't take it or how long you can be in there. So I saw him. I stayed there with him for like 2 hours. I sang to him. I prayed with him. I held his hand. And then I called my sister to pick me up. And I just knew that when I was walking away, that was probably my last time seeing him alive. I had a feeling. And then that was Thanksgiving. And then 3 days later, we get a call from the ICU, or my sister calls up there and it's like his blood pressure is just dropping. So they invited the whole family to the hospital. So during pandemic, if you guys are unaware, again, only one visitor can be there at a time. So once you get a call that the whole family can come, we all knew what that meant. We knew that, okay, this is about to happen. That drive to the hospital, not even the drive, the moment I got up to go get dressed to go to the hospital, it was just a lot. A lot was going on in my head. I was watching my reaction, my sister's reaction. I couldn't hold myself. I went in the room and I just broke. And then one of my sisters came in and just held me because we knew he was about to die. We knew we were going to the hospital to say goodbye. So we went to the hospital. I put his shirt on. And, so I was wearing his shirt when he passed. we went in the room and, we held his hand. I played his favorite song, Going Up Beyond. While he was going, they unplugged it, and we saw him take his last breath. My mom was there, and can I tell you how strong my mom is? Like, my mom is so strong, and she was like cracking jokes, like, and making us laugh. Like, it was crazy. Like, we were crying and sad, but we were able to be okay because of her. I don't know if she's aware of that. But watching him take his last breath was life-changing for me, and I honestly have never been the same. I honestly never been the same since. I can't even tell you how much it affected me when he passed. I think we all were very strong that night in the hospital, and I thank God for my mom's strength, and she was just like, no, this is not goodbye. This is see you later. I'll never forget her saying that. And my friends, family members that we were texting, they just couldn't believe it because people didn't know he was really that sick. Nobody could believe it. Like I said, because my dad was such a prayer warrior. So nobody really knew that. No, like Minister Pippers is not going to die. No, not him. So it was devastating for a lot of people, not just our family. When he died, my dad was such a powerful man, such a powerful man of God. He treated everybody, even people who did him wrong. That's why he helped me so much. Now him being gone, I'm like, I need you. Look, I be praying like, trying to talk to him. Like, I need you to help me stay out of jail because, I think he's a lot of reason why I ain't been there yet. And, like I said, my daddy treated people right, even the ones that did him wrong. And he was just such a good example. It definitely changed me. If I can be honest, because, like I said, I grew up a church girl and I was a praying girl. So I stopped praying. I stopped praying for a while. Even today, to 2022, I'm having a hard time praying. I'm having a hard time believing certain things I used to believe. And I've been striving to try and get an understanding and get somebody to tell me something. I'm almost like desperate to have someone help me understand. There have been things, and I'm going to talk about step-by-step things that helped me understand a little bit of the death. But the hardest part about the death, really, of course, him being gone, but that drive away from the funeral, I can't even tell y'all the pain, the drive away, not from the funeral, the drive away from the burial. We went from the funeral to the burial. That drive home that day. I typed out the obituary, y'all. I typed out this whole obituary. With the help of my family, I typed this whole thing out. Pictures. I got the pictures together. I did a lot. And I when I look back, I had crazy strength that I didn't know I had. Sometimes when I think I'm not strong, I look at that situation and just can't believe, especially being the baby girl. That's when he called me. I still have a voicemail of him calling me that. Because he's like, I'm calling you back, baby girl, where you at? But me being the baby, I'm surprised at the strength I had. I'm so surprised. Yeah, I put the music together for it. I made sure that we had the right music that he would appreciate, uplifting music at the funeral. But that drive away, funeral was beautiful. We celebrated him in style and, sent him home in style. But that drive from that funeral was so painful, y'all. Even when I take the route now, when I'm here. So a lot of this goes along with dealing with grief. those drives in the neighborhoods, like now that I'm back home, it's a little easier a couple years later, but at first, even driving to the grocery store that's on my parents' street used to be so devastating, because I remember being there with him not too long before he passed. His cars, I watched his cars get sold, a couple of them. It was devastating to watch his car be towed away, because my dad just loved his little ragged cars that was sitting in the garage. Like, sorry, y'all, I'm getting all ugly, but the drive away from that funeral, even now when I take that route, I remember that day. I get lots of flashbacks when I'm driving. When I'm driving, it's crazy. The flashbacks that I get, I can be really happy in a good mood as I woke up, and then all of a sudden, I will just bust out crying. Like, grief is crazy. When people say it comes in waves, y'all, it comes in waves. Don't think you are crazy. Do not think you are going crazy. It is normal. Let it come. If you bust out crying in that grocery store aisle, cry. You're not crazy. If it reminds you of a time at the grocery store with your parent, it's just, it's gonna be those times. For a long time, up until recently, it was hard for me to see funeral procession on the street. And then when I would see the car that's carrying the body, that really tore me up. Now, because I live around there's so many cemeteries in St. Louis where I live, I see them so many times a week that I'm okay now. I've gotten better. When I first moved, it just broke me. It just took me back. I felt so bad. My heart, I still feel, when I see those, my heart goes out to those people. I remember watching a video that my friend Rachel sent me of Lauren London talking about Nipsey Hussle's passing. And she said there's nothing like the front row at a funeral. If you're unaware what front row at a funeral means, you won't be sitting in the front row of a funeral unless it's someone that close to you pass away, unless you're family, most of the time, or like family. So when sitting in the front row of a funeral changes your life. When you are front row, you just don't even look at life the same. I saw many things that I just don't care about now, and you kind of wish other people was the same way. Like, there are some great people around. There have been great people around. We got stuff sent to the house. People that I didn't even think liked me, sent money to my mother. I posted something, and I think I made over $6,000 for my mom on Cash App, and I gave her every dime just because she had just gone through so much. And when I tell you, so many people Cash App me when I posted that, and I will never forget that. I will always be appreciative of the people that was there for me. I think most people knew, no matter who you were to me, a lot of people knew that my father meant everything to me, and my mother, that my parents mean everything to me. Now I'm doing my best to hold on to my mom as long as I can, which is the reason why I moved back to St. Louis. For those who are, they're like, man, I moved back because my father is not here anymore, and my mom is all I have left, and family is all I have. I moved back for family. That's why I moved back home. I just kind of said, look, I have lived in Los Angeles. I have accomplished a lot. What God has for me is still going to be for me no matter where I am. But, if my father was still alive, had I moved back here, no, probably not. Not right now, at least. But I felt I had an obligation now to be here for my mother. They were married 45 years. So I was like, I have to be here for my mom. Not only do I have to be here for her, I have to be here for me. Like, I have to, it helps me to be around my family, which is one of my points. It helps to be around family. When you lose somebody, make sure you're around. If you don't have family, if you don't get along with your family, make sure you're around loved ones, or people who have gone through what you've gone through. And my advice to people who haven't gone through grief like this, and you don't know what to say, don't say anything at all. Because some of the insensitive comments that I got, and stupid comments that people told me, like, oh, you never, go to counseling and do this. I'm like, don't y'all think I did that? When I'm trying to pour my heart out, crying on Facebook, honestly, it may help for a while, but when people start commenting to you that's never went through grief, that's when it gets annoying. Don't listen to people who have never been there. Don't listen to anyone who has never been there. Only listen to people. What helped me was talking to my friends who's been there, who went through it, who lost a parent, who lost a sister, who lost someone dear to them. I stayed around family as long as I needed to. Right after he passed away, I didn't come back to LA for like 2-3 months in 2021, at the beginning of 2021. And if I could be honest, my daddy died in November of 2020. No, 2021 probably was the worst year of my life. 2016, finding out, was a terrible year. But then 2021 came, dealing with the death of him and being gone, and then having to live life without him and deal with mean human beings and work and all this other shit after he died. That was the worst year of my life. Because when I tell you, life doesn't stop when someone dies. That's what sucks. Life doesn't stop. Life doesn't stop. People don't start being nice. They'll be nice for a second. But if people are assholes, they're just going to be assholes. It's asshole going to come right back out. And when I tell you, half those people that sent money to my mom, I'm not going to say who they are, but some friends of mine, people I thought were friends of mine in Cali, turned out to be, that asshole came right back out a whole year later when I was dealing with the year of my father's anniversary. The most ignorant ass shit happened to me. I probably will talk about it, honestly, later on. But, the most meanest crap happened to me because, something major, a good thing happened to me. I booked a huge modeling gig, and people who I thought loved me, because a lot of those people really was there for me when my mom passed. All of a sudden, it's just like, damn, y'all forgot? Like, y'all, I'm dealing with the death of my parent. I'm not trying to deal with this. Like, but people gonna stay mad, upset, and jealous no matter what the hell happens to you. So that's something else I had to deal with. Like, I had to come to terms with. I had to come to terms with the fact that people are still going to be people, even when someone you love dies. And you're going to just have to find a way to ignore life, and just kind of deal with the grief. One ways that I dealt with the grief, even, dealing with humans, is, like I said, I stayed around family as long as I needed to until I knew I was ready, or thought I was ready, to go back to Cali. Also, like I said at the beginning of this video, I watched a lot of, I tried to watch a lot of stuff. One particular pastor, her name is Real Talk Kim, down in Atlanta. She probably saved me after my dad died. What's crazy is her father passed away 6 months before mine did, and I didn't even know it. I just needed someone to minister to me. I was in St. Louis, and I was just like, there's a certain type of ministry, certain type of something I need to hear right now, and I'm not getting it nowhere. So I searched for it, and when I tell you, I watched her YouTube videos, I watched her sermons, every day probably. If it wasn't every day, at least it was a few times a week. For that whole 3 months I was back home after my dad died, and it helped me, it saved me. On Sundays, I would go sit in the living room. So all this is around holiday season and Christmas season, by the way, because my dad died right after Thanksgiving. So my dad's birthday was also his birthday's on Christmas. So imagine, holiday season, all that. It happens right now, it's November, a few weeks before. So thankfully, the holiday season is still my favorite season. It still is. I still feel his spirit. I still feel so close to family. Thankfully, my mom is still here now. Child, when I lose her, I don't know what's going to happen to me. I don't know how I'm going to feel, honestly, on holidays with both of my parents. I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. I just know after losing one parent, it just made me feel so lonely to think that I was only down to one. I honestly do feel very, very lonely a lot, because I just feel like my mom now is all I have, and my sisters. But my mom has had me like crazy. Even something happened this week. My mom had me like crazy. People don't know what I go, like, people look at my life and, you know, they hate on me, and, you know, because they think I've had these opportunities, and like I just have it made, and I've had all this favor, which I have, and I am blessed, and I thank God. But I still go through stuff too. I don't know why, you know, human beings are so mean. You know, now after losing a parent, I don't give a shit about a lot of stuff. I don't care, you know, like stuff that just happens on. I'm like, you get such a different outlook on death? Like, we are really going to die. Do y'all know that you're going to die? Do you know that your loved one is going to die? They can die tomorrow. You can wake up without, you know, let me crooked here. You can wake up without, you know, your loved one tomorrow. That messes, it stings. Like, you know, life is way too short. I just began to realize how short life is. And yeah, but anyway, so I watched a lot of Real Talk Kim and her videos, and she broke a lot of stuff down to me. So if y'all don't know who Real Talk Kim is, matter of fact, I'm gonna post her in my description box below so you guys can see, you know, if you guys are dealing with grief, how she taught me how to mourn and move, and how she, you know, her father died and she got up the next day and preached a sermon because he was a pastor. She had to preach because he died, you know. I just seen so many strong women around me. God keep putting a lot of strong women around me, and I was able to come across her videos, and she really helped me. So I would just really recommend, find someone that's going to minister to your soul. Search on YouTube, type in what you're going through. Type in, you know, how to deal with grief, or somehow like find something to watch that's going to help you, that's going to minister to your soul and give you a reason to live again. Because when I tell you I was mad suicidal after my dad died. I never tried to kill myself, but this is my first time saying this publicly, but after my dad passed away, I did not want to be here no more. It took me, when I say I probably laid in the bed for like 2-3 weeks straight after that funeral. You know, we drove home and I didn't get out of bed a lot. A lot. I laid in bed for weeks, really, really sad. And my therapist at the time warned me. She was like, after the funeral is when it's going to hit you, because that's when everyone's going to go silent again. And I dealt with a little bit of silence, but I got hit up a lot. And to the people who did reach out to me, that still reach out to me about my dad, thank you so much. It does not go unnoticed at all. And I will never forget it. It doesn't go unnoticed. I still have some people to this day that are dear to my heart in LA, and a couple here, mostly LA, that still reach out to me, and care about me, and know how sad I was, and actually took it to heart how sad I was. Yeah. So try to watch something that's going to minister to you. Find someone that's going to minister to you. And if you don't, if you can't find things to minister to you, try to find a therapist that will minister to you. Talking to others who went through this, like I said, is that's the advice I took the most. Some of them I did take, that I felt in my heart, when they would tell me, give me advice about grief. But the ones who dealt with it the most, I'm just like, how did you do it, sis? Like, how did you do it, bro? Like, and I took the advice that they gave me. And one of my big sisters in California, one of my play sisters, she told me about grief counseling. And I have my last grief counseling meeting on Monday. Bittersweet. I have been in grief counseling now for 9 months straight. We met every other Monday via Zoom. And that has it was so therapeutic to be. So I was in a group with other people who lost a parent, either mom or dad. All of us lost a parent around the same time. And when I tell you that helped me, because you're always going to kind of think you're alone. Even though there are people who have went through it before that you talk to, There's nothing like someone who just lost a parent right now that you can sit and talk to, and you guys are crying together and talking about it, and each one of you are sharing pictures of your parent, and things that it's just things about your parent, and it was really, really helpful. So it has been 9 months now, and I can't believe we are here already 9 months. But grief counseling really helped me. I would always recommend, if you lose someone and you really, really, really can't take it like me, get some kind of grief counseling, get some kind of grief support. It really, really helped, and then after the grief support, I moved back home. Like I talked about earlier, moving back home helped me. I just, all the crap going on in this world, and ever since the pandemic, I just really wasn't feeling a lot of things about LA. I wasn't feeling a lot of people. A lot of people who I thought was there for me wasn't. A lot of people who I thought loved me didn't. And that's when I realized, I was like, I don't care about anything right now but just spending the rest of my life with loved ones. I'm not a clout chaser like these other people. I'm not an ass kisser. I'm not doing weird stuff for a check. That's just not me, So I moved back here to be closer to them. And, what did it for me was, I think I've told this story in my first video, but I came back for Mother's Day. And I knew when I was here for Mother's Day, I was like, I want to be here for Father's Day too. I hadn't told my family none of this, but all this going on in my head. And by the time Father's Day came, we went to his gravesite. And I knew in my head, I was like, I want to move back here. I don't want to spend another Father's Day alone. That first Father's Day I spent in California, child, I don't want to spend another Father's Day without my family. I think my dad was probably one of the best men ever invented in life, and I just no, I want to be around people who went through what I went through. I want to be around people who know the pain of what it feels like to lose my father. So I want to be around these people, and it has helped a lot. Being around my family. I do live by myself, but I see my mom almost every day. I drive to her. I see it just helps to be around family, and, my sisters and my nieces and nephews. Like, I don't really hang out a lot here, just because I was in LA for 18 years. I'm sure it'll eventually change, but a lot of my friends are there. Like, I left here right after high school almost. So, social life is definitely kind of changed a little bit, but that's not why I moved here. When I moved here, a lot of people made statements like, oh my God, it's like, girl, that's not fun. St. Louis is fun. I was like, I'm not moving back to St. Louis for fun. Like I said, whatever God has for me, God has me wherever I am. If this wasn't, I prayed about it, by the way. This wasn't a move I just made, but I definitely prayed. And if it wasn't the move that I needed to make, it would be apparent. So, I moved back here, and when I did that, I cut everybody off that wasn't feeding my soul. And when you grieving, you're going to realize how much people ain't shit. Especially if you had a dad like mine that helped you deal with people, that helped you stay out of jail. Like, I was like, man, I cut off so many people when I moved here. With no warning. Just if I felt in my heart you didn't love me, it wasn't for me, I cut you off. You blocked, social media, numbers, all that. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Life is too short, and I think about family and loved ones, and I think about death a lot, because it's just like, why am I sitting here stressing on if somebody like me or not? Why am I sitting here stressing over if this person's really my friend or not? Like, my dad is dead. I almost said something, but forget these people. Like, no. So I just cut off whoever you need to cut off. Grief is something, it's a serious thing. And you gotta, I'm starting all over in life. I moved to a new city. It's new to me because I haven't been here half my life, with family, starting all over in life. You know, starting new paths. I started my YouTube channel. You know, I'm starting new things, some things, a lot of things. I'm continuing all my careers and stuff, but I am also, you know, grateful to begin new things and to meet new people. And in my grief journey, I'm happy to be here with family, and I can regularly visit my father's grave with my family and just hang out, you know. So do what you need to do when you're grieving. Know that it's not easy. It does come in waves, and go talk to whoever you need to talk to. It does get easier. I know a lot of people think that, and I didn't believe that. When I say it does get easier, yes, of course, I'm still devastated. Y'all saw me crying at the beginning of this video, but it does get easier as far as, like, I didn't even think I'd be able to smile again and get dressed again, and I'm able to do that. So, am I sad often? Yes, it definitely changed me, and I'm working on, you know, praying. I'm working on loving people the way that I used to. It's hard to do that when I just don't understand why my father passed away. So I hope this resonated with someone. At least, you know, if you're going through it, I hope you know I'm here with you. We're going through it too. Comment below or send me a message or something. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know that, you know, I'll share this video or let other people know that it's grieving, that everything will be okay, even though it doesn't feel like it. Life definitely can suck. It definitely feels like life sucks, especially right now, and, you know, when you lose someone. But you just got to take one day at a time, put one foot in front of the other, stay around family, stay around loved ones, cut off anybody you need to cut off, and just, you know, do your best to just be you, you know. So until next time, thank you guys for visiting. I'll see you next time.